So hello all, welcome back to Netflix Football, and I know you're excited, even I am. Who doesn't want to decipher the greatest mind in world football at the time, with the most philanthropic, with the most, let I say, the most honest person in Indian football right now? Yes, he's a legend, he's an inspiration to me. Let's have him on screen, the one and only Mr. Ranjit Bajaj. Sir, how's it been?
It's been great, my brother. Great to see you again, and great to be on your show again, especially unlocking the pyramid. So it'll be brilliant. We are able to actually do that, and especially looking at what we're going to be talking about, it's all about pyramids today.
Absolutely. Lots of shapes and pyramids that we're going to talk about and discuss. But before that, a quick shout out to today's sponsors. Wise Chimps, they are the marketing sponsors of Netflix Football. They're a digital marketing agency who provides digital presence and accessibility to all sorts of businesses. To give an idea, they provide certain features to their clients, which includes local listing, logo design, virtual tour, verification, and whatnot. So in short, if you've got a business, they've got a plan. They have formally worked with YouTubers and social media accounts. So if you're looking to grow your social media or any kind of business, Wise Chimps is the place to visit. So without much further ado, let's go back into the video. Ranjit sir, as the title suggests and as the Twitter caption suggested, half spaces. So in layman's terms, for footballing dimwits like me who doesn't understand much of the things, so what is basically a half space?
Okay, so half spaces come from the German term Halbrum. Halbrum basically means the magic space. Now, see why? Because the kind of variable and probabilities you have. See, football is all a game of half probabilities and variabilities. Now, as you very nicely pointed out, so as you can see, we always have two half spaces, and the advantages of being in half space. Okay, so you see, why not being on the other side on the wing or being in the center? How is that better? Because see, you not even going towards the goal, but look at it, man. He's not even, because if you see the half space, it ends when the first pole of the other side starts, and it's on
Yes.
both the sides. See, when you're in half space, what are you facing? It's about your vision. And as a, if when you look at the vision, when you're looking at a football field and you're looking at it from front, when you're in the half space, the options you have are the options that matter. For example, when you are in the half space on the right side, the options you have are passing options to the center, passing options to the other wing, and shooting options in the center. Whereas if you are in any other space, you're limited to only one option. When you're in half spaces, you have all the options which matter available. So they did, how did this half space come about? They actually did a survey, they did a study in the English Premier League and then the German Premier League. And they saw that maximum number of assists and the maximum number of goals came from half spaces. Even though they are not aligned with the goal, the most important place to be was that. So in fact, we actually used this. Yan Law and me came up with this plan, and that's why I consider Yan a great coach, much ahead of his time. Because at 26, he was talking about half spaces with the team, and when you saw that being implemented, the two people who could take the uh, best way for the half spaces was Sanju Pradhan and Calvin Lobo. And both of them had played for India and played a long time. And we had Anwar Ali Senior as well. And I asked them that, you've been with such great coaches in India, you've been and you've been with such foreigners as well. You know what half space is. Unfortunately, they didn't. The first time they came to know and talk about half space was here. And when the world football started talking about it, is because Man City is the best example of using half space. Liverpool is the best example. Before that was Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. So it's all about positional play. Why does Man City see? If this is channels of broader terms. See, like Jacob Sahu is asking if this is what we call a channel. No, channels are basically just spaces which you have to run between players. You find a channel and you run. Whereas half space is a defined space, which can only be that space. which is starting from the start of your D box till the time where it ends on the first pole, and on the other side, from starting from the first pole to the end of the D box. I will share documents with me, which will talk about the vision. So when you see, when you're standing here and when you're looking straight, the vision is only 180 degrees. So you basically can only see the goal right from the beginning, right from here. Whereas you can't see what's happening here. Whereas when you're in a half space, I can see the goal. Here, what I can't see doesn't matter because I don't want to see what's going on in the wing, on the other wings, on if you can see me, on the other wing side. I don't need to see. I need to see what's happening in the goal, what's happening on the wing, what's happening right next to me. So one option, second option, third option. And the main thing is I have the goal right in front of me. And that's where all the best chances are made from. So when Man City started exploiting the half space so well, they started dominating football. And they started dominating football in a way like Liverpool or these teams, all these teams have dominated, and they're dominated because of the use of the half space. Now, when you say what is half, basically also when you're talking about Man City and pyramids, it's not just pyramids or basically triangles, it's positional play. And it's all about not having a fixed position. That means you cannot now tell your right back that you can only be a right back and you can only be moving in that channel, like he was saying, in that channel of space. Whereas a right back should move into where? Into space, wherever he finds space. So where will he not find space? Well, the defined logic of right back is that if a right back is going to overlap, then he's going to be cut off by their left winger or their left back. Okay? That's already done. That is why the right back needs to move inside as an inverted fullback and exploit that space. Again, we did that this year with in the I League. First time ever we played both with inverted fullbacks. Now, what happens there is the whole point of football is see when you're defending, you say you want to be compact, you want to be compact, you want to be compact. Imagine if in attacking you're compact like this, the space, where do you need space? You need space up front. You don't need your defenders to be in space. That's the whole point because they say that if you get your fullbacks inside, if they are inverted, then who will give the width? The width is not required here. The width is required up front with Sterling and the ones up front. The width is not. Why? Because if you lose the ball, you are already in a correct shape, all compact right at the back. With Laporte and Fernandinho, and you got Walker, and these guys are the main playmakers. Now, these guys normally, what does a right back or left back do? They go up and overlap, okay? Or some of the good ones, they might just come in and give a cross, okay? Whereas, what do we want these guys to do? Their job is to go in and give penetrative passes to your middlemen or to your forwards. Their job is to go up and take shots into the goal. You've seen the best in the world, the best right backs and left backs are the ones who start scoring goals. That's why you see Walker going up right in the middle and going up and taking shots. And that's why he's known as one of the best. And the same way, when you've got inverted fullbacks and you've got your width is with who? Width is with your wingers. Now, when you say wingers, it's a very deceptive term. They're not wingers. Messi is not a winger, but Messi plays on the wing. Big difference. Ronaldo is not a winger. He plays on the wing. He's there to provide space. So what does he do? He cuts in and then either gives the ball or takes a shot and goal. Eventually, you have to have three forwards, not just one forward and two wingers to provide space, to provide crosses to this middle guy. No, this guy is also a goal scorer. This guy is a goal scorer. This guy is a goal scorer. He's added up by my two attacking midfielders who are going to be playing in the half spaces, attacking midfielders. They're going to be backed up by my two fullbacks who are going to be right behind them and also coming in and taking shots. So you've got a team space, which is team shape, which is like this and then opening up like this. Not like this in the front and in the back. Why? One fucking long ball kills them. Because they are, when you're building up, so normal football says when you're building up, then all your fullbacks should be in space, everybody should be in space. That happens. If you lose the ball, you are giving them the opportunity, you're screwed. And nowadays, you lose the ball more in build-up because counter pressing is there. How to counter pressing is if you play with inverted fullbacks. Because if you got inverted fullbacks, even if you lose the ball, you've got three people to immediately press. And you're already compact because you've got a fullbacks, you've got a defensive midfielder in front of them, then you've got your two centre backs behind them. So you've got double protection. And you're already compact. Where you don't need to be compact is up front, where you're providing space. So, Thierry Henry went to Barcelona. There's a very good documentary. People should go see it. And now they're on Discovery. Take the ball, pass the ball, take the ball, pass the ball. So Thierry Henry went to Barcelona, and he says, when you go to Barcelona, everybody's a star there. But then you come to know that, you don't have to play for yourself. Even when you've been taken in Barcelona because of your skills as an individual, but they want you to come and use those individual skills to make the team better. He says, all I had to do, I used to be making those runs 30 times, and I used to get the ball once. But because I used to be making those runs 30 times, Eto'o used to get that guy dragged away from me. So the point of the winger is not only just to make runs, is to give space to other people. So if you're playing a 4-3-3, okay, and you have this guy sticking to his next to the winger, the strikers, both sides. You just made it easy for the defense. Why? Because their four defenders will be on you like this. Okay? So you made them compact, you make their jobs easy. Whereas this guy should be on the width, extreme width. This guy on the other extreme width. So now these four guys have an option. Now, if they leave that guy empty, they're fucked. So if this guy goes and covers him, this guy goes and covers him, you've just left one striker with two people here and one-on-one there. So that means a Thierry Henry guaranteed, or a quick winger will beat that left back, right back and make it a 2-on-2. And that guy coming in with a third man run, make it 3-on-3. So it's all about overloading. And you have to use the space. And unless you use the space, you're never going to be getting it. So I don't like what Pep Guardiola says, all the greatest coaches say, there is no position in football these days. You are not a right back, you're not a left back. You start your attack with your goalkeeper. You start your defense with your striker.
Absolutely, absolutely. What an interesting tale. But Ranjit sir, very interestingly, for a novice like me to understand the concept of half spaces, that first came into my mind when David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne were playing those two attacking midfield positions at Manchester City. Where there's an interesting contrast to that, where James Rodriguez recently said that there are no trequartistas or number 10s anymore in world football. There are all these attacking midfielders, or number 8s to be more precise, who are tasked with the attacking, the defense, as well as making space, scoring goals, and very essentially the first man or the first 2 or 3 line of press. Starts with the striker and the attacking midfield. The wingers that usually cover the channels.
Your front five. Your press has to start with your front five, because otherwise you'll be overloaded immediately and they'll get out of your press. So it has to be a coordinated front, because see, your goalkeeper is there, then you have your 2 centre backs, and then you have your full backs. So 5 to yahi hoge. And then if you have 1 DM coming back to help them, and even you have the attacking midfielders coming back to help them, you're already 7 on 5. So that is why attacking midfielders have to join in the pressing. There's nothing known as a sitting midfielder anymore, or a number 10 anymore. You're right.
So my question to you on this topic is that, has the emergence of half spaces and players exploiting half spaces, not a half space, but half spaces, has led to the downfall of classic number 10s like the likes of Riquelme, the likes of James Rodriguez, or even a Coutinho, who we see Bruno Fernandes playing that role, but we cannot call him a number 10. He's an advanced playmaker, if I may say. Has this contributed, or even the likes of Messi?
Bruno does the job of a number 10 sometimes, but yes, he's an advanced playmaker. He's not an actual number 10. See, I think you're right. Not only that, lot of positions have been redefined. A goalkeeper has been redefined, and there is nothing known as a striker who earlier used to be poachers. What are poachers? They just stand around there and they wait, and then they just poke because they are in the right place at the right time. There's no place for a poacher anymore. That means you're already 1 man down. You're playing against a 10 versus 11 because the front guy will not press. So that first guy In fact, the striker and the wingers probably are already the fittest guy. But even the striker now, like you say, even a superstar, he has to go and join the press. You just cannot not be
Will be
pressing.
convenient.
Exactly. There is the moment you are not helping your team, you're at a disadvantage. It's all about overloads. The moment one guy doesn't do his job, you're already screwed because you've already helped the team. Simple. You've given them an overload already because you've not done your job.
Yes. Now, talking about half spaces, we know how Manchester City improved on half spaces, but the earliest memory of what I've gathered is Rinus Michel's in that Ajax side featuring Johan Cruyff, where they actually found out what a half space was, because a three in defense, a wide diamond in midfield, two runners, one fullback joining the attack, one staying back. Sort of that actually beat the Catenaccio of what we have and led to the death of Catenaccio, if I may say. So that team, even Johan Cruyff on the left hand side, left half space, that position that he coined. Do you think that that has been improved upon? Because we all know how Pep Guardiola got his roots in that Barcelona team, under legendary managers, and the Cruyff influence.
Playing and then managing both. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So, do you think that this influence is just turned over and Pep Guardiola has taken that managerial role into another notch in three different leagues?
Yes, and that's the proof. See what Pep Guardiola has done has proven to, I don't understand, Indians understand this. Pep Guardiola is the guy who has proven to us that Indians can do very well at the World Cup. Why? The only thing which we Indians should think that we are lacking from foreigners is कि यार साले तुमने देखे हैं कितने हट्टे कट्टे 6 फुट 4 इंच वाले इतने बड़े बड़े हैं हमारे कैसे यार वो तो फिजिकली लॉन्ग बॉल देके हमारे को मार देंगे हमारे को लॉन्ग बॉल में they'll be doing this. We don't require big people to win football matches. He has proven it with Bayern Munich. He has proven it with Barcelona. He has proven it with Man City. He has proven it in England, where the only team is just tough football and long ball 4-4-2, long ball 4-4-2. He's done it against them. That means even if you have people like Gabriel Jesus and De Bruyne and these little fellows, you can still beat any team. Not only beat, you can steamroll any team. Positional play. And positional play basically means overloading it because of your positions and your constant movement. And he's shown that and he's proven it. So I think it's a great leveler for world football, that you don't require anything except to win in football.
Absolutely. Because the likes of Bernardo Silva, the likes of Phil Foden, who are not strongly built, who are not, as you said, 6 foot 5 inches forward, but so much technically adept and so much. I remember this quote from.
So I'll tell you, see, people have an argument that, he's able to do it because look at the money Man City has. Okay. And the same way when he was able to do it in Barcelona, look at the team he had. And look at the team he had with Bayern Munich, with Lewandowski and Müller and everybody, and Barcelona, obviously Messi and PK and whatever, man. But you have to understand that people like Bielsa have done the same thing. And when he took over Leeds in the championship, the team budget was the last three, they spent money on just getting him. The players he got were all second-grade players. Within 1 year, he made them almost qualifying, and the next year he qualified for the thing with the same squad. The same boys who picked up from third, fourth, fifth divisions are now mid-table in the Premier League because of the improvement they made as a team. And no teams are going and buying those players. Why? Because they know that moment this player is out of the system, he won't be that good. Whereas, yes, obviously, you take a De Bruyne anywhere and he'll score, man. And you take a Aguero, he'll be playing very well because they are world-class players. But imagine now, you put, again, like what Thierry Henry was saying about one Cruyff, that he went there and as a world-class talent, he made the team better. So imagine if you have this world-class talent playing to a system. Whereas normally you have world-class talents in world-class teams like Juventus, they never play to any system. And that is why they can't reach that. Nowadays, You want to be the best in the world, not only do you need to have world-class talent, but you need to play to the best system possible as well. Because if you play as individuals in a team, you'll always lose. So Ajit is asking how City is still influential in scoring without a number 9 need. They've never had a bloody tip. The whole season they've gone. People have been saying, where the hell is their striker? And the only guy who normally scores every time, Aguero, he's not played them for the last 21 matches since they won. So that again proves you don't need a Ronaldo or somebody like a proven striker or a Chetri that people keep on asking where the next 80 is. You get a good coach, you let him do his magic, and you let him. So you have a positional play of system, but you have those players understand why they're doing it, and that's 90% the battle won. And that is why, Neil, you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. So if that's why it's so tough to do it now, it doesn't matter. It's not ego or teamwork. Even if you brought Pep Guardiola to the Indian team, he wouldn't be able to make this team into a world-class team. Why? Because their basics are not right. Because playing in the Indian team for 10, 15 years, like Sanjay Pradhan, Kevin Lobo, Anwar Ali Senior, nobody talked to them about half space ever. They didn't understand what it was till last year they came. Or Halbram, or for that zone 14. We'll talk about zone 14 another day, because that's another way of what they have done and how that is an important place. And so zone 14, if you can put out a chart, I'll just show them what zone 14 is.
Okay, sure. So, just a second. In the meantime, while I dig up that, there's quite an interesting question from Jivagda. So, no country for old men like Robben in Klopp's or Guardiola's system. Also, if this concept is well understood, why does whoever plays for United's right wing looks like they don't understand? Come
Any
on,
space. So the Jibak is a really, really troubled fan of Man U that he understands any space. See, but by that just shows that when they're not understanding space, they're giving new boys chances to come in. See that new boy who's come on and scored that day in the Champions League. Ahmad, yeah, man, 17-year-old boy, brilliant talent. And he got an opportunity because the right wing was not doing well. He came on and now he's looking like, see all these boys in Chelsea who've been brought up, yes, because they're a band, but they've shown that they are now considered as the best. So I would say that, now not about old men, experience counts, but they won't be able to play 90 minutes because they let the team down. Because every time, if I have a Robin, I'll make sure that every of my crosses, that means my switches of play, go to his pocket where he's pressing. Because I'll be able to get out of that press like this. Rather than going to a Sterling where I know that this guy will bloody press me again and again and again and again, and he'll go and pressing all four of us. So I know where you're making it easy for the other team to give you a weakness. Yes, for a 10-minute spell, Robin's perfect. Nobody better. Why? Because experience, he'll get a chance, he'll put it in.
That's why the whole that's the whole system. And by the way, the chart is up. Zone 14, especially Ranjit sir's favorite zone, if I'm asking. And by the way, I've talked to his coaches and I know sir's immense fascination for tactics, and I'll talk about that a bit later on the trivia. But right now, over to you, sir. Zone 14.
Okay. So see, this is what one day they sent a drone over Man City's training grounds, and they were trying to see how they are dominating like this. So he had one entire pitch divided up into these squares. As you can see, there are 18 squares or zones, as you call them. And as you can see, zone 14 is right in front of the goal. Now, like I said, half spaces are meant for creating chances, for creating goals. Whereas, and even scoring, yes, and assisting most of all. Whereas zone 14 is responsible for maximum number of goals happening within 3 seconds of receiving. So the rule is, if you receive the ball in zone 14, and if you don't take a shot within a second and a half, which is now the time set standard, you will lose the ball. But within a second and a half, if you take a shot, the chances of you scoring are really, really high. But the reason of dividing this, zone 14 is the most important zone, because obviously that's where the goals happen. But the reason of dividing it up into so many zones was that every player understands that they cannot be more than two players in any vertical or horizontal line. So that means no matter what you do, all you have to see is सीधा मेरे से एक ज्यादा प्लेयर तो नहीं है वहां पे, अगर मेरे आगे दो है तो आई मूव इनटू डिफरेंट जोन, मेरे इस साइड पे दो तो नहीं है, क्यों? बिकॉज देन आई मेक श्योर माय टीम हैज सो मेनी डिफरेंट लाइंस टू बीट। अगर मेरे चार प्लेयर एक ही लाइन में खड़े हैं इकट्ठे सीधे, वन बॉल थ्रू मी between us, over me, kills 4 people. So when we are attacking, more lines we have is more spaces we have. Also, this way we make sure that there's always advancing. So if there are 2 in every zone and 2 in every line, we'll always have every zone and every line covered so that we can move up and shift play very, very easily. So that जो पीछे वो करते हैं to shift play this side, so they say that, you know, when they say take the ball, pass the ball, take the ball, pass the ball. And you see sometimes on football, there are 2 players who are standing in the middle of a bloody match, which is going 2-2, and you know things are going crazy. These 2 players start passing amongst each other, tuck, 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 and we keep on thinking, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with these guys? Match is going on. What is this happening? They are making everybody there is set on a particular position. They are making them move. Every time the ball moves, their team has to move. Every time. A good defending team will move with the ball. So the ball is moving tuck here. Some defender moves from here to here. So they're waiting. Where's the space? No space. Everybody's covered. Tuck. No space. Everybody's covered. By the third or fourth pass, you will find a space. That is why there's a rule of Pep that he says a minimum of, Neil, how many passes was it? Minimum, how many passes you have to make before you take a shot on goal?
It was the same, I guess, when Louis van Gaal said that you have to make a minimum of 3 passes before you actually shot on goal.
Pep Guardiola has said you to make 16. Because he says if you make 16 passes or 18 passes, I can guarantee you the other team will be out of shape. Just look it up. The minimum number of passes you have to make before you actually attack. So that's why you see a Man City team passing, not for the sake of passing. Passing is always to move the other team. The moment you pass, the other team moves, and that's where you find space. If I'm standing here with the ball, the other defense is not going to move an inch. Why? Because they've got the ball covered. Only if I move, they will start moving. That is why I keep on telling my players that when you get the ball, a keeper, normally what does he do? A keeper gets the ball and he sees that he's got a centre back this side, he's got a centre back the other side. And he gives the ball. Oh my God, that's the worst thing you can do as a keeper. Why? Is anyone pressing you? No. Yes, if someone is pressing you, immediately get the ball. Stop fucking around, stop dribbling. Okay? But if no one is pressing you, move up with the ball. Why? When you move up with the ball, those 2 centre backs, what will they do? They will also move up. You've just gained space. You've gained space. So when a keeper moves, one of their attacking midfielders or striker will have to come and close him down. Otherwise, he'll keep moving, keep gaining space. So you don't have to come and dribble that attacking midfielder who's trying to press you. When he's 5-7 yards away and he can't do anything to you, that's when you pass. Why? Because you've killed this man. He's out of the game. But when he's still there and you pass to your centre back, the same attacking midfielder will press him. Whereas, what are you trying to do? You're trying to overload. So where is the keeper? Why isn't the keeper being used? Keeper. He will move up. And then the guy will come towards him. He will pass. Then the centre back, if he's being pressed, he will pass immediately. But if he's not being pressed, he will move till the time he's pressed. And then he will pass. Because he has to kill that man to overload the other side. Then, what is happening here isn't not affecting it. You can't be standing there. There have to be constant runs happening there and making space. So, it's never now only 2 people involved in the game. It's all 10. Maybe sometimes not the goalkeeper, but other 10 always. Maybe always 11.
Absolutely. I have a total tactical masterclass. And even if I have to draw reference, that when I was with the Minerva scouting trials, I remember Coach Ankush and his coach encouraging the young talents on show to essentially make 4 passes before they have a shot on goal, even if there's an empty goal. This philosophy, I was mind blown. I have never seen someone coaching such intelligence into the players at such a young age, because what Ankushda told me was football is not just a game played with your foot; it's played through here, and that
Exactly.
you've reverberated.
Exactly.
Absolutely, and definitely. And talking about pyramids, this is one of my favorite things to discuss with everyone and anyone, because talking about
That's one of my favorite books.
inverting the pyramid. Oh my god. I read the ebook and I was frustrated at it. That has a complete
Read,
research.
bro, read this also.
Soccer matics. Sure, sir. Definitely. Definitely. For all the soccer fanatics or of all the tactical enthusiasts, do give this book a read as well. I'll try doing a review of that, because what Ranjit sir suggests is genuinely gold. So this is something, sir, I'm sure this is going to excite you as well. So if you this is very
Okay,
popular
wait.
and very
Now, so see, what you've got is something, yeah, two W's, what they call the two W shape. And
yes.
this is what is going to be the future. Little bit changed, I would say, which, by the way, we are doing with Delhi FC. I'm doing it right now with my team. And the shape we play is something which India would have never seen before. Probably, I don't, probably 1970s, I remember a coach used to do it. Yeah, exactly, Prashant. Thank you so much. 18 passes. Yeah, you can increase the bit to the pitch. 18 passes before a goal, man. Brilliant. I'm going to be playing with 3-2-3-2. And that means three, three at the back, two, and then again three there, and then again two. And with the three, you have obviously two wingers and attacking midfielder, and then you have more midfielders who are the basic playmakers, and then you have the three backs. And the backs are also in, the full backs are also in. All three are involved in going up. So what happens is normally, when a fullback goes up, he is normally covered, ready for someone covering him. What no one is ready for is a centre back going up. Because you see that whenever centre back comes up and he tries to take a shot at goal or he scores, he always get a free passage. Because no one has ever thought that this guy will come and make a run and he'll try to score. So nowadays, there are teams who are doing that and taking advantage of it. We've got teams in the English Premier League who are doing it. We have the old Dutch way. Brilliant. Exactly. The old Dutch way. And they believe, the old Dutch way, they believe in total football, which has now started making a reappearance now. And it's the basic of football. Remember when we used to be little kids, we used to be in KG or class 1, 2, 3. Teacher used to just throw us a ball. All 50 of us used to be together where the ball is. That's total football. That's what it is.
No, that's quite a fact that you've come up and shared your tactics, because I'm sure people who are watching are actually putting scouts on this show. More the merrier, I get more views.
The point is, the proof is in the pudding. It'll be one match and they'll know we are playing that shape. That's no big deal. The point is, if your positional play is so good, and that's what we're trying to prove, if your positional play is so good, you don't require runners, you don't require anybody, you just require players to understand their positions.
Absolutely. I think sir is breaking up a bit.
Am I?
Better now.
Okay.
A bit, just a bit. No worries. People are spying on this channel. You don't trust internet anymore at this moment of time. Oh, no election jokes. I promised my audience no election jokes. But the reason I put up this is, as you can see, sir, two inside forwards, especially in the WM formation, two inside forward, and that coincides with the part of half spaces. And now WM formation has been there for quite a long time. Even in the reputed book, Inverting the Pyramid, the research paper of a book. Now, inside forwards, the increase of inside forwards, as you said, whenever an inside forward or a winger, who's essentially an inside forward in today's game, not an overlapping midfielder in the 90s, or as traditional wingers are considered. Now, suppose a Messi or a Ronaldo always played as an inside forward. The 4-3-3 has been envisioned on the WM formation. But what I want to ask you this, since you're talking about the 3-2-3-2 formation, or maybe a WM formation and variation of that, but let the audience know what a halfback is and how Man City essentially, with Joao Cancelo or even whoever plays in the fullback position, are essentially halfbacks in their team.
See, that means you have not given them normally, again, like I just said the Dutch way, that person is not just responsible for being a defense guy. That means you have a guy like a Virgil van Dijk who will only go up in corners, or a Virgil van Dijk who will only go up in set pieces. Whereas you'll see that he an halfback will be always be kind of part of every single attack. In fact, every single attack probably will start with him. Every single attack will start and probably end with a shot by him. So that means they become one of the most important facts of the team. And you see the teams which have the best, now you can call them now halfbacks or right backs or fullbacks, the
Yes.
ones who are the best ones, not the ones who are the best ones who go and cross. No, they now those guys are out. They don't like people who come and cross because for that you need huge bloody 6 feet 4 inches guys coming and heading it in, and that's not what Man City's team is based on. Imagine they even do this when they bloody reach the center line and they're parallel to the goalkeeper. Normal football says give a parallel cross. Guardiola says give a cutback. That there'll always be somebody on the cutback waiting for the second ball. So it's a tap in than a parallel cross, which is very difficult to come in. Oh, yeah, exactly. Vieira, Patrick Vieira, and Frank Rijkaard. Vieira, with what he did with Arsenal as a halfback, showed probably why they were the Invincibles at that season when Arsene Wenger was there. Because what Patrick Vieira was doing was unheard of. He was not only just dictating the defense, he was building up play, he was going and scoring stunners and coming in and shooting.
All round, all bust midfielder that is
Yeah.
lacking because
Legend.
as
Legend.
as you said that people are more classified into roles these days, and I'll just ask you this question that as you said there's nothing called a poacher in today's world right now, but an out and out goal scorer, if you try to count top 10s you'll struggle naming 10 world class forwards like Haaland. He's all famous right now, the likes of Harry Kane, Romelu Lukaku,
See, I'll tell you,
Lewandowski,
Ibrahimovic.
Ibrahimovic,
Ibrahimovic
all.
is a striker. He's got, see, I would say an out and out striker is the one who knows, see, like for an Aguero or for a Jesus or for a Sterling, I would probably not put them as out and out strikers because they are more in positional and they will probably have more tap ins in their life than great goals. But that's great enough. Whereas an Ibrahimovic will always score stunners. So people like him are unfortunately on the way out because it's now less become on that. Even now, Ronaldo, you see, the moment he was taken off a few weeks back in that match, they scored three. Otherwise, they were just trying to pass to Ronaldo. Moment they took him off, they scored three. So these things are happening, and teams are realizing that always the whole see when the whole point of football is overloads. That means you have to have a 3 versus 2 somewhere or 2 versus 1. The whole point of football is that. And the moment you have an individualistic player there, where entire team is based on that, not on exploiting the other team by overloading, but by one guy who probably can be doing better than the two guys, and every time depending on one guy to win, won't happen. Because there's only one Ronaldo, and even he's on the way down. So, and now you can see Messi. You can't depend on one player, no matter who you are. Now,
So basically, you're agreeing with the fact that the whole attacking setup is now based more on forwards than strikers.
definitely, there's no fixed role. For an attacking midfielder, he's my inside forward, like you just said. Attack inside forward or an attacking midfielder is exactly the same thing for me. But if when they're in the front, but when the attacking midfielder is in my half, he's my DM because I have three DMs there. I can't give a role. How will I win a second ball? The second ball, my long ball comes and he heads it. It's my centre back or the striker, whoever. The second ball comes to me. The whole game is now about winning second ball. So if you win,
Yes.
how do you win a second ball? Second ball can never be won by one person. Second ball has to be won by four people together. So the ball has to land in the middle of that square and all four have to converge and win that second ball. For that, it has to be, if a centre back is taking the second ball, it has to be either the second centre back or the DM, along with the two attacking midfielders coming in and doing that.
So what an amazing feeling learning all this about you. And since I know you're excited about overloads, let's just, before concluding the show, let's bring up the Man City positional thing that we brought out a bit earlier. So this is what we can call an overload. See, all the forwards in half spaces, all the forwards
Exactly.
in
Exactly. Now see, what is happening is the guy covering Sterling is in a very big quandary. Why? Because Cancelo will definitely go down the line, okay, and he will beat the right back, their right back, left back. So this guy covering Sterling, we'll have to see that should he stay with Sterling or should he go to Cancelo? Because if he goes to Cancelo, Sterling has open space. And then if he goes to Cancelo, the centre back, then the other centre back will have to come to Sterling. That will give Foden all the open space to go up in the middle. So it's all about creating space with these runs. That even if Cancelo never gets the ball and he makes that run, he is given the fullback a very big dilemma. Should he stay on Sterling or go to Cancelo? Both ways he's screwed. There's no good way out of it. So there's no right way that he should go here or go here. He's screwed. Why? Because of positional play. Why? Because no matter what, you will be overloaded. Because Cancelo and Sterling have overloaded the right back and left back right now. Right back. Then when Cancelo goes up and that right back is already beaten and the centre back is there, then Cancelo and Sterling have overloaded the centre back. And the same thing, if Foden and Gundogan come into play, it's a 4-on-3. Because Gundogan is always up there, Foden is always up there, and that's where Walker comes in. And then you have two attacking midfielders. You have that. Then you have a Jesus who's taking the other guy totally wide. And then you have a De Bruyne who's going to make either an overlapping run or an inside run. So you've got so many people making runs there. You'll see whenever a Man City attack is there and the last line is there, you'll see at least 5 Man City attackers in one line. Because they will be, and there'll be 3 behind. And where will the centre backs be? They'll be up right up there. That means to the half line. And the goalkeeper will be right behind the circle. Why? Because the difference in the lines cannot, in this system, the difference between one line and the second line and the third line and the fourth line cannot be more than 10 yards. Because in a counter-pressing team, you cannot counter-press if the distances between your lines are large. Distances between line means Laporte and Fernandino की line and Rodri and Walker की line. Then उनके बीच में जो line है Gundogan, Foden and De Bruyne, and then the next Cancelo, Sterling and Jesus line. And that can only happen if they always make the field as small as possible. That means they go up. That's why Man City says that we love to play the football in their half. And that's the whole point of playing possession football. You play possession football, then you are only worried about one thing, not about anything else. You're not worried about defending. Why? Because you have the ball. You are not worried about losing the ball because you have possession of the ball. You're worried about only scoring. The other team cannot even think of scoring. Why? Because I have the ball. They can only think of what? Saving my goal, defending, saving my goal, defending. That's why possession football is much better. That's why I'm not a Mourinho fan at all. That park the bus, play on counter. I mean, come on, man. Then you've come to always, before the match, you've told the other team you're better than me. I'm just going to pray and hope it doesn't go in and probably get you if I have a chance. That's not football. That's not life. Play possession football and that's how you get better in life. I mean, what I try and teach the kids? That go park the bus and keep on defending. The whole point of playing football is joy. Joy comes from movement and scoring goals and great movements, and beating big teams because you are better in the field. Because very famous quote that I've never seen a bag of money score goals.
Absolutely. What interesting is the part where you talked about late third man runs, and you said that Sterling or Cancelo, the defenders already have their hands full. Now Gundogan pops in, and that's why he's been one of the top 5.
Third man run third man run is impossible to defend. I've talked to my players about this. You cannot defend. See, when suppose A has the ball, A has the ball, one defender is right next to him. The B guy comes up and the A looks at him and he gives the ball to him, somebody on him. But if there's a guy who comes from the back and converts with them, again, like you're talking about pyramids and triangles, he will never be covered. So when a Gundogan makes that run, or probably even a Walker who makes that run, He'll never be covered because he'll always be free. Or if he's covered already, then somebody's already overloaded. That means Sterling is free, or a Foden is free, or a Jesus is free because Gundogan or a Walker is covered. And that's where De Bruyne comes in. He comes in these situations when he sees that Walker is in a good position and he's not covered. He makes that run. And when De Bruyne makes that run, always someone bloody runs with De Bruyne, because if you don't cover De Bruyne for 1 minute, he'll give a killer pass. Or he will take a shot at goal and he'll score. And that's where De Bruyne is always the one who's making those runs. Or even a Sterling, because they will cover Sterling no matter what. The moment that happens, that's where Walker exploits the space, or Gundogan exploits the space, which has been taken away by Sterling or De Bruyne.
Absolutely, absolutely. Amazing tactical masterclass. I think we have time for a few questions. Kunal ji has a question that African countries have many players in the Premier League, while there is hardly any Indians in the Premier League. Even though what Ayush said after that is English FA doesn't allow countries below 70 FIFA rank to play. But what's interesting is even they have the infrastructure. They have infrastructure like us. Are we just
that's exactly where I come in again. My World Cup match. So the whole way is that we will never get a Sunil Chhetri to, unfortunately, if he scores 100 goals today in the ISL, he still won't be picked up by Man City. Why? Because the rules just don't allow it, because of 70 plus thing. But how is Belgium world number one? Because they don't have a great league. Their players play in the best leagues in the world. The aim is what? Take kids who are the best in India, who are the age of 11, 12 and 13, to these countries, make them play against their academies. When our kids go and beat their academy teams, and it's possible, man. We've got our guys who've not in ISL teams, under 15 teams, have beaten Premier League teams. And the ones who played in, I am sorry to say, the ISL did not become the best in the country, because Minerva was not even invited. We would have thrashed Manu and everybody else. I'm sorry to say. Because if Reliance beat Manu, we would have thrashed them. Okay. So the point is, if this 12-year-old or 13-year-old or 14-year-old goes and scores 3 against Manu Academy, 3 against Southampton, or 1 against Arsenal, 1 against Southampton, some club will give him a contract right there. Yes, I will not make any money, but that boy will be in that academy. So he'll be considered a developed academy player, and the ranking of India will not come in space. That's how Messi was taken in at the age of 5 in La Masia, and that's why all the players from the Masia get out of that rule. Otherwise, it's a very big rule of Spanish that you have to have so many number of players who are your own players. Even though Barcelona has so many players from other countries who are great, but they are all their own players, because they get them in the age of 5, 6, 7, and they develop them for 10 years, and then make them into great. And that's what we're going to do. So hopefully we'll have at least 10 Indians by 2030 playing in the top Premier Leagues in the world. And that will be because those academies have developed them. We've just made sure that they've got a chance to see these boys.
Absolutely. And to add to that, when I went on the scouting drive, I was a bit perplexed that how's it going to be. But the impetus that I saw from the coaching team, the criteria that they put forward, and some of the skill sets on show, I shared with Ranjit sir that some of them were like POGBAs. We don't even know. But these kind of players, and I'm proud to say Minerva is doing something like this, where my local clubs aren't doing something of this sort, nurturing someone for such a young age. Imagine the investment, imagine the effort, imagine the time taken. And it's all of your philanthropic result that India is. And I believe that when I was speaking with Udipto of Skylark Sports, that he said that we are going to witness something special in the 2034 World Cup if and when we make it. I believe in that, sir. I believe in you, and
we definitely will make it. We've already started with getting a player, Minovan, into the top 60 Guardians list. Vikash was there, and that's the same list where Mbappe was featured, where Vinicius Jr. was featured, where even one day Messi was featured. So we are getting there. People they are taking notice of Indians being as good as them, and they are talking about it. So it's not far, guys. It's not far. We're going to be there.
Absolutely. And it would be a very proud moment one day to have all those young talents that we captured on the show to actually make that space. And not just for the views or something like that, those are secondary, but having someone of our own blood and dirt representing that. And as you said on the last podcast, the teams playing in the World Cup are this much award, not this much. So if you can participate.
Yes. And if we participate, we better be doing it really, really well. And that's the whole attitude which is being brought up with these boys. They're going to be, uh, every step of their way, they have only one goal. And they are being made in that mold where you're being taught with world class standards, you're being treated as world class players, and not only that, you're being told what your aim in life is, your goal in life is. So they are already eating, living, breathing, dreaming about the world. And trust me, you'll see a big revolution happening when these boys start playing and you start getting the results in a couple of years.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's just take one last comment from Ayush is that one of the biggest hurdles in Indian football is Indian mainstream media. They never show anything about football. How will the common masses get into football even? Legit question, sir.
Very legit question, and in fact, the ones who have the rights to Indian football, even they don't do anything. For example, the Star Sports 3 was supposed to be the Indian football channel, but the only thing I can see is cricket, 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 and all Indian football fans have really, really been offended by that. I think what the thing to do is that the moment we start supporting our local clubs and we start going and actually going and telling the states that you please have your leagues, and each state league is actually the fourth division of Indian football, and then we go and start watching those matches. That's when the revolution is going to come. In fact, I believe it's not far, it's getting there. We've had more and more states coming in, we've had more baby leagues happening, it's moving in the right direction, and we as fans just need to support and believe.
Absolutely. The revolution is on course. And I was gutted not to go to Minerva because of the course that was happening and because of my injury and stuff. And let's
Don't
hope
worry,
that,
bro, we've got the course waiting for you.
yes, I talked with sir that they had actually postponed it to the end because a lot of ISL and a lot
Yes.
of people from the I League wanted to join in. And it's public knowledge from the poster that I have shared it is even. And those of you interested in the course, do contact Minerva. The contact numbers are given. It's an excellent course. And let's hope I can recover in quick fashion. And let's hope I can see Mr. Ranjit Bajaj smile face to face and have a live session with him. So thank you, sir, again for coming and actually responding to my texts and calls. It's been so ethereal having you in these shows, and I hope this keeps on growing, sir.
Awesome talking to you, bro. Love talking to you about football, especially tactics. I mean, I could go on and on. That's my passion, and in fact, that's what I tried to show with the Minerva Punjab team last year, using all these tactics and with people who have never played like that before, and then making a team from Punjab forget long ball and actually play that way was the biggest achievement. So if Punjabi team can do it, trust me, all teams can do it.
Absolutely. And the poster that the day which was shared was the anniversary of Minerva's title triumph and that historic event. I was
Eighth.
pissed because Mohun Bagan didn't make it, but equal respect for Minerva and hats off to you, sir, for whatever you have achieved. You're a revelation, you're an inspiration to us all.
Thank you
That's
so much. Awesome being with you. Thank you. Good night, my brother.
absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for coming in. Let's hope to get this on more and more events. Ranjit sir, it's been pleasure talking to you. Let's hope we can do this sometime very soon. Bye bye for now. So that was pretty much about it with unlocking the pyramid. Lots of informative session and a lot of things to take in and a lot of things to digest. Zone 14 blown my mind, bloody blown my mind. So if you're interested in more tactics, you know where to hit that subscribe button. Yes, that's just below. The road to 800 is on, and I'm sure this is going to be far exciting going into the future. Lots of people to come in, lots of people to brag about the tactical intel, innuendo, and lots more to come in. Let's hope that I get a fast and quick recovery. So if I can just show you, this is the condition of my foot right now. So wish me a speedy recovery because I have a lot of things planned, and as special as usual, your favorite host Neil and another video. So okay, Sunday Man United versus West Ham, do join in there, and I hope to bring you quality video as soon as possible. With this is your boy Neil signing off for Netflix Football and another amazing video. Hope you liked it. Do like, share and subscribe and spread the word and spread the love for football tactics. Do invert the pyramid, and let's see you very soon. Bye bye for now.